Hi everybody, this is Brittany with Kansas City Creations and DIY by KCK, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about the 10 biggest tips that I have for beginners when you are starting an Etsy shop. So the first thing is to make sure that you fill out all of these sections that you have available in your Etsy shop. And what I mean by that is when you're going through setting up your shop, when it has the sections like your policies section, your about section where you tell a little bit about you and your business, payment policies, shipping, refunds, all of that, make sure you fill all of that out. If you do not fill all of that out, you are not going to get a boost in the Etsy search algorithm. The Etsy search algorithm right now gives you a little bit of a boost if you have all of those sections filled out. Plus, it adds some legitimacy to your business if you have policies set in stone and if you kind of look like you have it all together, basically. The second tip that I would give for a new Etsy shop is to make sure that you have cohesive branding. So this does not have to be anything fancy. Something simple is fine, but make sure you have a logo. If you can't afford to go purchase a really expensive logo to have one designed for you, look online and find something that's free that you can just type your information into. Or go on to Etsy and look for designers who are offering affordable logo packages. Make sure that your branding is all cohesive. For example, in my Etsy shop that focuses on jewelry, I have sunflowers and yellow and black as my cohesive brand. So from your cover photo to your logo, just make sure everything is cohesive and that you have something in place for that. The third tip that I have for beginning Etsy shops is to make sure that you have cohesive, eye-catching photos. And the biggest thing that I see with photos is lighting, and that's honestly probably something that I struggle with the most as well. Make sure that you have good lighting, so use natural light. Something that I do is I have a large light that I shine on my product, but then I use a white foam board to kind of tilt it and kind of get that light right in the right place, which can be kind of hard sometimes because I'm shooting small metal pieces, which can be hard to get good lighting with that. But if you don't have access to good light, get as much as you can and then use a program such as Photoscape that you can go in and you can turn up the brightness, because anything that is dark and just doesn't look inviting is not going to sell. Make sure that your backgrounds are simple. You do not want anything crazy. If you want to use a simple piece of wood, or I use a piece of wainscoting from the Home Depot. You can also buy smaller versions of photography backdrops where you can have some sort of cohesive look and something that's simple. You don't want it to be busy because you don't want it to distract from your photos, because you want your product to be what shines in the photo and not necessarily your background. The fourth tip that I have for beginning Etsy shops is to make sure, obviously, that you have a sellable product. So you want to ask yourself, is this something that I would buy? Okay, you can't just throw together 5 different things and call it good and throw it on Etsy and hope that it sells. It has to be something that people want. If people aren't going to want to buy it, they're not going to. So ask yourself, is this something that people are going to want to buy? Is it something people are going to want to spend a decent amount of money on? Is it something that I would buy myself? So we always hear the saying, quality over quantity. That's not necessarily the case when it comes to Etsy. I say quality and quantity, because to go along with having a sellable product, you need to have enough in your shop so that it gets a boost in the Etsy search algorithm. So I would recommend to have at least 25 items ready to go that you can list right away. You do not want to open your Etsy shop if you only have 2 or 3 items ready. Wait until you have a good chunk so you can launch all at once. Now, once you get into having 100 or more items, people have said that gives you another little boost. I don't know if that's true, but I have noticed that the more items that I add in my shop, the more views that I do get. So whether or not that's because I have more items in my shop, or I don't know why that is, but I would highly recommend starting with at least 25. Make sure it's good, sellable product, and then work your way up to having at least 100 items in your shop. And it sounds like a lot, but if you break it down and if you just add 2 or 3 things a day, that's really going to make a huge difference in how you're found on Etsy search. Speaking of Etsy search, make sure you have good SEO, good search engine optimization, and good keywords. So the main thing that I like to suggest here is to think like a customer. So if you look at your product and you wanted to search for it as a customer, well, how would you search for that? So if I had a necklace that had kids' names on it and birthstones, okay, so if I was searching for that necklace, I might search for something like mom necklace or personalized mom necklace or kids name necklace, something like that. So think about how you're going to search for it if you are going to buy that product yourself. Think like the customer. Make sure that you're using long tail keywords. So you're not just gonna wanna put necklace in your Etsy tags. You're gonna wanna put personalized mom necklace or, personalized children's necklace, something like that. So you're going to keep them long tail, keep them so that they're descriptive, and so that when people are searching, because people are not just going to search for necklace, they're going to search for personalized mom necklace or something like that. Also make sure that you have your keywords in both your tags, which you're going to see at the bottom of when you're creating your listing, your tags and your title. If you have them in both, you're going to get a little bit of a bump in the Etsy search. The biggest thing that I see is people that don't take the time to put in thoughtful and meaningful tags. Tags are how you are found. It's not just your title, it's not just your description. If you don't have good tags, you're not gonna get found. So make sure they're specific, make sure they're descriptive, make sure that your tags and your title match so that you can get that good keyword optimization. The sixth tip that I have for Etsy shops is to use seasonal and holiday keywords. So for example, if I have a mom necklace around March or April, I might go into my tags for that necklace and I might add, or I might just leave it in all year round, Mother's Day gift or gift for mom. Because a lot of people, when they're going to Etsy, they might not know necessarily what they want. They might not be looking necessarily for a necklace, personalized necklace for their mom, but they might just search gift for mom and kind of see what comes up because they don't know what they want to get her, so they're going to explore a few different options. Same thing goes, especially if you sell decor, make sure that you're using seasonal keywords. So Christmas decor, fall decor, things like that. Make sure you're using those seasonally, and you can always take them out if it's not that prime season. You can leave them in, it's up to you. Same thing goes for things like Father's Day, graduation, teacher appreciation, what else? Spring, Easter, things like that. Make sure you use those keywords so that you can get that optimization during the time that people are going to be buying. Seventh tip is to make sure that you have a quick conversation response. The way that Etsy customers are going to communicate with you is through Etsy conversations. A lot of people just refer to them as convos. If you have a short turnaround time on how you are responding to your convos, you're going to convert a lot more sales than if it takes you 3 days to respond to the message. My goal is to respond to all messages within 24 hours. Sometimes I respond to them within 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer. It just depends on if I have to sit down on my computer and I have to, create a custom listing or something like that. I would shoot as a beginning Etsy shop owner, I would shoot for at least 12 hours. So if somebody messages you, you get back to them at some point in that day. Or if they message you at night, you get back to them that next morning. If it's fresh in their minds, that their question that they're asking about your product, if it's fresh in their minds, odds of them purchasing it are a lot higher if you get it while they're still thinking about it rather than 3 or 4 days later. So make sure you respond to those convos. The 8th tip that I have is shipping and packaging. Make sure you know how much it's gonna cost you to ship it. Make sure you know how you're gonna package it before you ever list that item, because there's nothing worse than you're selling an item, you threw some random $3.99 shipping price on there, and then you realize it's gonna cost you $6.99 because it has to go priority mail, and then you realize you don't have a box for it, or you don't know how you're gonna package it so that you can make sure it arrives safely. So make sure you figure out all of those things ahead of time. Know how much it weighs, know first class versus priority mail if you're shipping USPS, everything like that. Etsy also offers something called calculated shipping, which if you want to set it up that way, you definitely can. There's pros and cons to it, and you can always do a Google search on people's experiences with that. I personally don't use calculated shipping because all of my items that I ship are fairly small, so I know exactly how much my things are going to cost regardless of where it's going in the country, because I ship first class mail and not necessarily priority mail, so there's a little bit of a less of a difference there. Now, if you're shipping larger things like signs or wreaths, things like that, you're probably going to want to look into calculated shipping to make sure that you're not losing any money on that. Also, make sure that you build in your packaging costs somewhere, whether you build that into your shipping or whether you build that into your actual item price. You're not going to want to be out $1.50 for every single item that you send because you have to purchase a box that you didn't account for that cost somewhere. So make sure you have that cost factored into your item price or your shipping price. I personally factor it into my shipping price. I consider that shipping and handling. So my bubble mailers and my labels, things like that. The little tins that I use to package my necklaces, I make sure that those that's factored into my shipping cost. Number 9 is make sure you have a quick turnaround time. This is something that changed drastically for me when I changed it. I went from having a 3 to 5 day business day turnaround time, which in the personalized world, that's pretty good. I changed it this last year to 1 to 2 business days, and it has made a huge difference. Whereas a lot of Etsy shops are starting to decline, mine is actually going up, and I attribute a lot of that to the fact that I am turning around orders within 2 business days. A lot of times people, you got to think about the Amazon Prime factor. People want it and they want it now. And they might not understand that because you're a handmade shop, it takes you a little bit longer. You're not Amazon, you're not Amazon Prime. But if you can get that turnaround time to within just a few days, you're gonna have a lot better sales than if you're waiting 1 or 2 weeks for turnaround time. Now, some products you can't do that. It might take you a week to create the product. Just make sure that whatever your turnaround time is, that you have it clearly listed in your description. If you have a fast turnaround time, put that at the top of your description. Put that in your cover photo. Put that in your announcements. Because if people see fast turnaround time, odds are they're probably going to purchase that over if somebody else has a 1 week turnaround time as opposed to a 2-day turnaround time. People these days, a lot of times, are last minute shoppers. So if you can appeal to those last minute shoppers, it's really going to help your shop. And the last tip, number 10, that I have for you is to offer a thank you coupon. Now, if you go into your shop, there is a place where you can set up discounts and coupons. I highly recommend that you set up a returning customer coupon. And I've done this, I think, since the beginning of my shop 4 or 5 years ago, and you can track how many times people have used it. I use the code THANKYOU15, so if anybody wants to go out to my Etsy shop, and you can use it, I don't care. THANKYOU15, it's 15% off of a return purchase, and Etsy will automatically, if you set it up within your shop, they will automatically send it to that customer once they've made that purchase. So then they get the email that says, thank you for purchasing from Kansas City Creations. Here's a 15% off coupon for your next purchase. And I can go in and I can track how many times people have used that, and they do use them. And if that 15% gets you another sale, great. You have a repeat customer. You've got somebody who's loyal, who's going to keep coming back to you. So make sure you take care of your repeat customers. Give them that little coupon. Everyone loves a good deal. And you'll have people coming back and knocking down your virtual Etsy door. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions at all, make sure you comment. Please share. Please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. I will also, in the description of this video, I will have a link for free Etsy listings where you can go. You can get yourself some free listings to get started. I believe it's 40 free listings. That's a great number to start with. So good luck with your shop. If you have any questions at all, I'm more than happy to answer them. But have fun, happy creating, and have a good night.